So greetings, how are you? Hopefully awesome. Hope you're living the dream, truly. Hope wherever you're watching or listening to this, you're safe and happy. And I'm here to report that I am. I'm actually in an area called Lauderdale by the Sea. And I have an Airbnb here. I made a commitment, I don't know if you, in one of my other videos, I shared about, you know how there's the movie Craigslist Joe? So basically, I want to do Airbnb mics, but with a twist. Like, I don't mind having someone follow me around with a camera and all that stuff, but I don't want to do any of this nonsense drama where it's like, oh my God, I'm starving because I haven't eaten in 3 days because I can't get a job doing anything other than volunteering for jobs on Craigslist. So, but what I sort of want to do is, I mean, I want to just sit here with like a briefcase full of money and start like experiencing Airbnbs. That wouldn't be really that much fun. I mean, there has to be some challenge to it. So anyway, so I'm thinking about how to do that. To that point, I'm staying in an Airbnb here. I got another Airbnb down in Key West. I got a smoking deal on it because, okay, so I haven't been to Key West in like almost 30 years. So I'm gonna say like 28, maybe 29. Wait, what is it? It's February or March right now. So yeah, so it's just been over 28 years basically since the last time I was down here. Because I was 20 then, I think. Regardless, been a while. And at that time, at that age in my life, at that time in my life, I think $100 for a hotel would have seemed very expensive, I think. And I don't remember ever paying that. I think we paid less than that. And I remember like a couple nights we'd stay at a hotel, and then normally when I would come down here with buddies, and the last time I came down here, I think it was with my girlfriend, at the time from UMass, we stayed in a hotel because like there wasn't a campsite available, or we just wanted to, I think I actually fell asleep on the beach. I got this like horrible sunburn. And so we needed to stay in a bed where I could be lathered up with Novocaine, right, with Noxema. At least that was the solution back then. Probably like an actual aloe vera leaf would have been infinitely anyway. So anyway, so here I am, Lauderdale by the beach, which, so you don't have to get out Google Maps. It's simply north of Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is north of the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport, and then further south is Hollywood, Florida. So anyway, so I'm going to be staying here and then leaving there tomorrow, or leaving to go down to the Keys tomorrow, and that's going to be awesome. So I already checked on some meetings. It seems like there's they refer to sort of the Key Largo area, sort of like, you know, basically east of Marathon Key, which is kind of in the middle, Key West being west, and then Key Largo being on the far right, and then sort of Marathon in the middle. Marathon is also near Big Pine. It's also near Bahia Honda. And so Bahia Honda State Park, which is the whole island, or one key is the entire state park. And so I'm assuming that didn't change a whole lot in 30 years because it's a state park, right? It's probably, but we'll see. Which brings me to the reason I'm doing this video, which is, do you have memories, good memories, fond memories, of somewhere else, someplace you've been many years ago, which you then marinate on for years and years, describing to your friends, oh my God, this experience was epic. I remember when I was, and this happened, and it was amazing. And then you return to that place 5, 10, 20 years later, and it ain't as good. And so there are a couple reasons why I've discovered that happens in my life. Not the least of which is I'm X number of years older. And so the expectations I have when I'm 20 of what awesome looks like compared to what I've been inundated with stimuli over the last 28 years, for example, are insane. So for example, 28 years ago, if I were to see a Cirque du Soleil show, like, actually that's a good question. Was that around then? All right, here's a better example. If 28 years ago I were to walk into a nightclub like XS that is in, dude, seriously, like fucking, like, because there's no more other place for him to put his kite other than like 2 feet above me. Could you focus? My beach, only child syndrome, get Adam away. Where was I? Okay, I'm gonna have to cut this part out. But if 28 years ago I were to walk into Excess nightclub, that would be just such an intense amount of overstimuli compared to what was available 30 years ago in nightclubs. And the audio alone, that was a funny thing. I was talking with a buddy of mine yesterday. We're walking out by the pool at this, resort where we were having the dinner. And I said, dude, remember like, I don't know, 5, but certainly 10 years ago, the outdoor audio systems that they used to have at places like these? I mean, there would be echo, there would be delay and all of this. And now you walk into like an outdoor pool at a resort and the audio is epic. I mean, it just feels like you're surrounded. It's just, they do a very good job at it. And so now that's the expectation, right? So, I mean, if you're somewhere and it's like, there's a speaker out, it's like, hey. I'm not getting the mid-range I need right now. Yeah, I'm gonna need my towel back. So anyway, but I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the whole like experience and what I've referred to, or what I've heard referred to, and I guess I use this phrase too, in the program, which is euphoric recall, meaning I only remember the good of before. And then when I go back and try to experience it, it doesn't occur because it's different, or it's different times, or there's a change in environment, or I'm sober versus drunk, or I'm drunk versus being sober. And so therefore, what I'm experiencing around me is completely different. Or I'm fat, or I'm thin, or I'm smoking, or I'm not, or I'm doing something good, or I'm doing something bad, or I'm in a relationship, or I'm not. I mean, in other words, there's so many differences, right? Because, okay, here's a great example. Just in the last 2 to 3 years, if I compare the experience that I had in Bangkok when Gracie and I went there, when I went there with my girlfriend, versus going there alone and just like screwing around with my buddies, the experience is totally different. But what's cool is I found little slices of it that I absolutely could do regardless of my mate that was with me, whether I had Gracie or not. Which of course is like going to temples and experiencing Bangkok and that sort of thing. And then I was able to experience other areas of it that I didn't do when I was there with my buddies. I was able to, check out some of the startups that were there, check out some of the innovation that's going on. Next time I go there, actually whether I'm with Gracie or not, I'm definitely gonna be checking out some of the universities. Thammasat and Chulalongkorn, Point, I don't know the name of it, something like that. Thailand University. So I'm gonna be checking that out. But it's an interesting thing, right? And so, you do something a while ago and you have a great time, and then a while passes and you go back to that same location and try and recreate it. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's disappointing. So I need to report to you that I am trying to go into this re-trip, the return to the Florida Keys with that open mind. I never really spent a whole lot of time in Fort Lauderdale other than just driving through it, and I think it was actually in March, so it was like spring break for college students. And even back then I was like, okay, this is just not my, I mean, I like pretty girls in bikinis just like the next guy, but it's like, yeah, you're all over the place. And even when I was drinking, drunk girls were never really attractive to me. So it's kind of like, okay, this isn't my scene. But I'll tell you, today's fantastic. Today is exactly what I needed. I needed some photons, I needed some infrared, I needed some sand, and gratefully I was in the same time zone as my parents, so I got to call them and check in with them, so that was great. So anyway, that's a little bit of what I'm talking about, what I wanted to talk about now, which is the whole euphoric recall thing and how it might change. So it's Mike's. Hope you're living the dream. If you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong.